Welcome back, young and old, to another epic episode of Mac Music Review. Today, I'm going to be going over the entire Passion Pit discography. And I'm barely uploading these days, but I wanted to do this, so I'm going to do this. I'm coming to you straight from the garage. We're going to start off with Passion Pit's debut album, not the first thing they ever made, but their debut album, Manners. In a lot of ways, Manners is a very singular entry in the Passion Pit discography because it feels like their least personal. It's more in the vein of Chunk of Change than it is on any other albums that came afterwards, because the big thing about Passion Pit's music, one of the most distinctive aspects of it, is the presence of the lead singer. I think his name is Michael, who I've heard is the only, I just read that he's like the only actual member of the band. Like, he does all the music and the singing and the writing. He does all the work himself, which is pretty amazing when you hear how intricate the music is, especially on an album like this, which has some of their most complex and well-developed music, in my opinion. But it also feels like there's something missing in the lyrical department, and that's that the songs don't feel nearly as personal. The songs feel more poetic and distant, and that's partially because the music oftentimes kind of drowns out his voice, and it just feels like the focus of the album was not on the writing but on the music, which definitely isn't a bad thing because the music here is excellent, but the personality, it feels like it's missing a little bit of that. And when you can dig a little deeper and kind of try to grab onto the lyrical content, not a lot sticks with me. Not a lot of it is really making a big impact and sticking in my mind, and there's not a lot of ideas here lyrically. It's just lyrically, it's just okay. I mean, there's songs like Little Secrets where it's really obvious that it's just kind of a fun, upbeat song. The lyrics don't seem to get too deep or introspective. It's just supposed to be fun. And Sleepyhead, the lyrics are kind of weird and mysterious. There's a somewhat dark element to it, and that's a little more interesting, I guess. And then there's To Kingdom Come, which once more it's more of the upbeat kind of lyrical content. And you know what? I'm not gonna say the thing is badly written, but lyrically it doesn't stand out particularly. This album lacks in introspective lyricism and personal lyrics that kind of hit on different levels. I think it makes up for in terms of excellent music and production. Once again, I think musically this thing is just very it just feels very layered and dense, and once again, if this is really just one guy doing all of this, that's extremely impressive. Make Light is a solid opener with some really just very I'm bad at describing music. I've always been bad at describing music. I want to say very high-pitched electronic music coming in, and just sparkly, and it's just got a lot of energy and a lot of just it feels very vibrant and very just bright. That's the best way to describe Make Light on this album. And Little Secrets is just a bop. It's just a really fun song. Moth Wings actually hits pretty hard. Like, that music just at the beginning just kind of overwhelms you and fills you with a special feeling. And I have to admit that I'm gonna be biased towards not just this album, but basically all of the Passion Pit music, because it's music that I listened to non-stop in middle school. So this is all gonna be affected by nostalgia, and Moth Wings is just a really nostalgic song for me. And additionally, The Reeling, a song that really goes through multiple phases, one of the longer ones on the album, and just musically it's very interesting, and it's definitely a big highlight on the album. Swimming in the Flood hits the listener with waves of sound, very well developed sound, and it's a mood. That song is a mood, and you just enter the mood when you put in your earbuds and you hit play and it washes over you. It's a great song. Also, To Kingdom Come has always been one of my favorite Passion Pit songs. It's one of the more fun songs, kind of like Little Secrets, that type of vibe where it's just very upbeat and energetic. But it's just, it's something about this song. The music is so well produced. It just hits, man. I feel I'm at a loss for words for describing a lot of the music on this thing. Of course, Sleepyhead is an iconic song. It's not actually from this album. It came from their Chunk of Change EP, but it's on here. It's a welcome addition because it's a great song. And then Seaweed Song, the closer. Very solid closer. Once again, not one of the best songs on the album, but still a very solid closer, just like Make Light. Solid opener, solid closer. The problem with having so many massive highlights, individually great songs, is that some of the songs kind of get lost in the mix. I think Eyes as Candles, Folds in Your Hands, and Let Your Love Grow Tall, all just either they have hooks that don't work as much, or the verses are weaker. They're just songs that fall short in one way or another. But legitimately, while this may not be the most cohesive album overall, and it may not have any like very clear themes or like things that just tie it together as an album, it has so many songs that are just great, so many individual great tracks. Like, I'm serious, Little Secrets is great, Moth's Wings is great, The Reeling, Swimming in the Flood, To Kingdom Come, Sleepyhead. Like, man, there's a lot of really good songs on this thing. And I really do think it is a great album. I think musically it's very impressive, very well made. In that electropop vein, I think it's kind of like other electropop, alternative pop, but it's very different. This feels very singular and unique and distinctive, and that's one of the highest praises I feel like anyone could give an album. And I'm going to give it 4 stars out of 5. I think it's a great album. That's another thing, if you start watching these Passion Pit reviews. I'm going to link my Passion Pit Ranked in the description. I talk about that on the Ranked video. But I kind of really like all of their albums pretty much equally. This one, as much as I praised this one, I talked about the lyrical content, and the lyrical content is one of the things that really draws me to their music, and this one doesn't really have that kind of lyrical content that, or strong emphasis on the lyrics, I feel like, as their other albums do. Even their more pop, their album that went in a more mainstream direction is what people said. Lyrically, it really does stand out in a lot of ways, and I love the optimism of that record. But, yeah, thanks for watching the video. Have a great rest of your day.